Much like having a car is useless without roads, having a home network without internet service is equally as pointless. Without a connection to the internet, many devices will not function or will function but with much less usefulness. Internet service is the on-ramp for our connection to the information superhighway. But as the knight in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade once said, choose wisely, for while the true grail will bring your life, the false grail will take it from you. In this episode, we will touch on the different types of internet service, the providers, how they work, and the pros and cons of each. Ever wonder why there are not many options for internet service in your area? Is there something going on that prevents Comcast, Charter, and Frontier from existing in the same multiverse? I smell collusion. Well, it actually isn't quite that simple. Cable companies sign exclusive deals with local governments. These deals include language that they will provide cable and services to the location in exchange for exclusive rights to sell their services. This sounds a bit like a racket, but to combat the monopoly advantage, cable companies are regulated on product pricing. Other service providers like electric, telephone, and natural gas companies have similar deals in place. Each provider is selling a line to the city. While some multi-provider cities exist, they are very rare. Now, this kind of sucks for the consumer because you are stuck with one provider and no competitive recourse if that provider really sucks. I am not a cable company sympathizer, but there is some justification for these actions. You see, cable companies don't sell TV, internet, and phone services. They sell the cable. The cable, as in the piece of wire that comes into your home. They provide the cable by building infrastructure that costs them possibly thousands of dollars per home passed. 50,000 homes at $500 to $2,000 a home is a heck of an investment. Once they've built the infrastructure, cable providers then provide services on top of it. But paying for that investment is their initial need. So there doesn't need to be collusion to prevent competition. There are many, many other blockers. Going as a new entrant into a mature market against a competitor means you have to work 5 times as hard to capture new customers than if you enter a greenfield market with no competition. The local authorities may not grant a second license, or may have given exclusivity to the first provider. These are all risks that cable companies must combat, and they are difficult to adjust for when millions of dollars are on the line. So, now that we know we are somewhat stuck regarding service, let's talk about the ways in which internet is delivered to the consumer. When determining which type of internet speed and internet connection type is right for you or your family, it's important to understand the distinction between each connection. In today's age, there are numerous ways to connect laptops, desktops, mobile phones, gaming consoles, e-readers, and tablets to the internet. Some of the most widely used internet connection types include mobile internet services. Many cell phone and smartphone providers offer voice plans with internet access. Mobile internet connections provide good speeds and allow you to access the internet, but are typically metered, meaning you are capped out at a set amount of data available. Imagine watering your plants and all of a sudden your water to the whole house shuts off because you used 30 gallons. The only way to get more is to buy it or select another plan. Even unlimited plans dumb down your connection speed once you reach a certain threshold. Dial-up. Believe it or not, dial-up is still alive. The number of people using this service in the US is in the low thousands, but dial-up users still exist. Dial-up connections require users to link their phone line to a computer or router in order to access the internet. This particular type of connection, also referred to as an analog connection, does not permit users to make or receive phone calls through their home phone service while using the internet. Now more outdated, a dial-up connection used to be among the most common types of internet connection. Broadband. The term broadband is shorthand for broad bandwidth. Broadband is a group of high-speed internet connection types that are either provided through cable or telephone companies and are the most common connection type for home networks. DSL. DSL, which stands for Digital Subscriber Line, uses existing 2-wire copper telephone lines connected to one's home so service is delivered at the same time as landline telephone services. Customers can still place calls while surfing the internet. DSL is much faster than dial-up and for not much more money. For the price, it's competitive with entry-level cable internet. It's so cheap, in fact, that you can get 1.5 to 8 megabytes per second for $15 to $30. Another pro is you don't have to share your internet connection with your neighbors like you do with cable, so you don't have to worry much about peak usage periods and your internet slowing down. The quality of DSL service heavily depends on the distance from you and the internet service provider's hub. The farther away you are, the poorer and slower the internet connection. The maximum limit that ISPs have our cable runs is about 18,000 feet, or a little over 3 miles. Many ISPs don't even push the maximum due to the lack of quality at the very end of the line. DSL service isn't available everywhere, which goes hand in hand with the distance problem. You probably won't find a DSL provider stationed out in the boonies, so if that's where you live, you probably won't be able to get DSL service there. Cable. Cable internet connection is a form of broadband access. Through the use of a cable modem, users can access the internet over cable TV lines. Cable modems can provide extremely fast access to the internet, making a cable connection a viable option for many. Cable does not require a phone line, which means you have a ready internet access. This is useful in the sense that you do not have to dial in to connect to the internet, and there is no dial-up fee. In addition, you can stay connected to the internet at all times. Substantially faster than other types of broadband connections, such as dial-up, satellite, and DSL, cable allows you to transfer data, such as photos, music, and videos, at super high speeds. It supports heavy data activities such as online gaming, which makes your playing experience of a higher quality. It's also not as susceptible to dropout as dial-up internet is. Speeds are not quite as fast as fiber optic internet, and the speed you receive often depends on how many people in your area are connected to the internet at the same time. Your connection may be noticeably slower if you are on during online peak hours. Initial connection fees can be often quite high, especially if you have a professional technician install the equipment for you, and it's not available in all areas. Satellite. In certain areas where broadband connection is not yet offered, a satellite internet option may be available. Similar to wireless access, satellite connection utilizes a modem. It's available in rural areas, it's faster than dial-up, there's a growing number of providers, and recent innovation is improving the service dramatically. However, there's data limits, high latency is a problem, and there are geographical limitations as well. Fiber. Fiber internet is the utopian connection for internet enthusiasts. It is the fastest and most reliable service available, but all that comes with a cost. Both initial connection costs and monthly service costs tend to be higher than other service types. If you don't mind spending money and want blazing internet, fiber is the way to go. There are many other lesser used types of internet connections, but those mentioned above are the most common. All the connections mentioned share a common characteristic. Speed is king. Internet connections have two speed characteristics that you should be concerned with. Upload speed, the time it takes you to push data out of your house, and download speed, the time it takes for you to pull it in. Posting pictures or videos to Instagram or Facebook requires upload speed, pushing the data out. Watching Netflix requires download speed, you're pulling the video in. Providers are smart and understand that download is king, so a typical internet connection will have a much higher capacity to pull than to push. For example, if you get Spectrum's gigabit service, your pull speed is 1,000 megs, but your push speed is only 30 megs. This is important as your use of bandwidth will dictate what you pay for. The average American household has 15 connected devices, and the average broadband usage is 190 gigabytes per month, or 190,000 megabytes. This number is increasing exponentially as more and more people go to an internet-only model for all media and entertainment. So what's hogging all that bandwidth? One word, video. According to a study by Broadband Services, Sandvine, during a peak hours in North America, 71% of all downstream bandwidth going from providers to consumers was used up by video. They forecast that that number will rise to 80% of downstream bandwidth by 2020 or 2021. Netflix sucks down the biggest share of the video traffic, with 35.2% of all downstream traffic in North America during primetime hours. YouTube ranks second at 17.5%. On average, streaming an HD Netflix movie uses about 3 gigabytes per hour. while streaming an SD movie uses about 700 megabytes per hour. Downloading a rented movie from, say, iTunes is slightly less bandwidth intensive. On average, an HD movie from iTunes will use about 4 gigabytes of data, while an SD movie will set you back about 1.5 gigabytes. Streaming music is far less data intensive than you'd think. Spotify uses 2.4 megabytes per minute to stream its highest quality audio. Other apps are even more stingy about data usage. For example, browsing Facebook uses about 2 megabits per minute. Skype uses just 360 kbits per minute, and general web browsing and email use just 7 gigabits per month on average. Now that you know the types of service, their pros and cons, how speed works, and what uses up the most bandwidth, you can start figuring out just how much you actually need. Start by looking seriously at what apps you use and how you use them. Do you watch a lot of movies? Binge watch an entire television series in a week? Or do you just download an occasional movie and surf the web casually? Do some calculations based on the usage and speed information, and you'll have a rough idea how much data you need. With more and more devices than ever connecting to the internet, it's crucial that you understand what's hogging all your bandwidth, so you can upgrade your internet speed package and get the package that best fits the needs of your household. Selecting the right internet connection for your home network is somewhat limited, but essential. It can be confusing and frustrating, and I hope that this video helps to clear a little bit of that up. So, if you like what you hear and appreciate knowledge, please subscribe to our channel and tune in for our monthly content. I am Brent Raeth, and I have just one more thing to ask you. Did that make sense?